4.2 is polynomial division and the division algorithm. So first, the division algorithm, it has a rather long statement, and it might be a bit confusing, but after I'm done going over this, I'll show you how it's actually used, and that hopefully will be a bit easier to understand. So let P and D be polynomials with d of x not identically equal to 0. What does that mean? That means, it's right here, means it's not 0 for all values of x. In other words, it's not the horizontal line y equals 0. Okay, and degree of d is less than or equal to degree of p. Then there are unique polynomials, q and r, called the quotient and remainder, so that p of x equals q of x times d of x plus r of x, with degree of r strictly less than the degree of d. P is called the dividend, and d is the divisor. So we have a dividend, we have a divisor, we have a quotient, and we have a remainder. Okay, so this sounds a lot like what happens when you divide things, right? When r of x is identically 0, that is, there's no remainder, we say d divides evenly into p. In other words, d is a factor of p. And we have p of x equals q of x times d of x. And so d and q are factors of p in this case. Okay, so that's the division algorithm. It's a bit of a mouthful. Note that when d of x is not equal to 0 for some value of x, we can rewrite this as p of x over d of x equals q of x plus r of x over d of x. And this is very much like when you have what's called an improper fraction, like say 5/3, and you want to write that as an integer part plus a fractional part where the fraction is less than 1, right? It looks exactly like that. So like say 7/2 equals 3 plus 1/2. And I've got those colored there so you can match things up. P, the dividend, is the 7. The divisor is the 2. The quotient is 3 with a remainder of 1. And I've divided my original equation here by d of x, and so that's the d of x cancels here, but that's where the d of x in the denominator of this last term comes from, the 2. Okay. Or you can write it in long division form this way. 7 divided by 2 equals 3 plus the remainder over 2. Okay, so that's long division. Now in long division, we don't usually write this subtraction sign in here, even though we are subtracting. But when we do this, we're going to do this with polynomials. This is the division algorithm, believe it or not. We're going to do this with polynomials, and when we do that, since polynomials sometimes have negatives in them, we have to put the minus in front. Because sometimes you'll get a minus of a negative, which is plus, right? And this is written in the form that it is here. P equals Q plus D plus R. P equals Q times D. P equals Q times D plus R. 7 equals 6 plus 1. Right? So that's this mysterious way that it's written over here.